lecture about into the modern constitution. The modern constitution prepared by first BA English Media, Dr. T.K. Stanley Davis, St. John's College, Palayamkottai. Okay. Main getting into sources and salient features of England Constitution. Sources and salient features of England Constitution. In the modern history, medieval history and even history is like about or the evidences like into only sources. Okay, only sources. The sources, first one is sources. In the sources and salient features of England Constitution divided into three parts. One is sources, second one is introduction, third one is conclusion. Then first one is sources. Introduction. The introduction is the many of the new constitution were created after a study of England Constitution. In the world level constitution prepared by like into situated by into the England Constitution, or the example for like into only England Constitution, or the oldest constitution of England. In the any other countries like created by the parliament or the constitution like into England Constitution. Then it has influenced many of the constitution of the world. Influenced many of the constitution of the world. Then many of the features of this constitution have been adopted by the other constitution. Okay. Then next one is sources. Sources like on the first one is great charters and petitions. In the meantime, the great charters and petitions was like into the England Constitution was the made by all the full powers like into England King. In the England King, all the full powers, the people was many rights into many agitation and helped by into the charters and petitions. Okay. Then in the meantime, the many agitation was flourished in England and people was got a right into the Magna Carta, petition of rights, and another one point, the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights. Notes the point. Already Magna Carta, petition of rights. The third one point is Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights. Then second one is the Acts of Parliament. The Acts of Parliament. In the Acts of Parliament, the England Parliament was include the discuss of the conventions. What is the meaning of conventions? Kutta Todar, Marabugal. Then in the England Constitution, the convention was in like into the many reforms act or the many bills was introduced in many reforms act was passed into the reforms act in the 1832, 1867, 1884, 1918, 1928. In these reforms act, the act of parliament in England Constitution. Okay. Then third one is the judicial decision. In the judicial decision was like into the only England judges. Only England judges. In the England judges, many of them petitions or the cases were like into the only rules and regulation. Only rules and regulation. Then fourth point is the common law. In the common law was like into the many of the people and the parliament members and any other peoples were like into the common laws. Then fifth one is conventions of the constitution. What is the meaning of conventions? Kootangal. In the conventions were made by the England constitution was the constitution made like into the introduced into the bills. What is the meaning of bills? BILLS. Bills. Masoda. The bill was introduced or summoned into the England Parliament, and one-third of the Parliament members like into the Constitution of the Convention of the Constitution. Sixth one is the view of constitutional export. The view of constitutional export. The view of constitutional export into the many three points. One is England Constitution. Second one is laws of constitution. Third one is parliamentary treaties. Parliamentary treaties. In these points was like into the made of like in England Constitution sources. Okay. Then next one is the salient features of England Constitution. In the first point is the oldest constitution. What is the meaning of oldest constitution? In the all over the world, like into the same method of like into the old constitution of England constitution. Second one is unwritten constitution. Like any matters and any bill of rights, any human rights, any reforms act was like not by unwritten constitution. Like any time, like any matters was the clear and clean by them into the unwritten constitution. Then third one is evolved constitution. What is it? Evolved. Evolution. Evolved constitution. What is evolution? EVOLOUATION. Evolution. Evolution. Revolution another. What is the meaning of revolution? Evolution. என்னப்பா அறிவியல் எப்படி வரும்பா சயின்ஸில் அதாவது பரிணாமம் அப்படின்னு எல்லாம் வரும் இல்லை எவல்யூஷன் தியரின்னு எல்லாம் அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி வரக்கூடாது சரியாப்பா த எவாலுவேட்டட் கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் தென் ஃபோர்த் ஒன் இஸ் ஃப்ளெக்சிபிள் கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் தி ஃப்ளெக்சிபிள் கான்ஸ்டிடியூஷன் வாஸ் லைக் இன் டு தி any time or the any matters like into the written and unwritten and scrapped or like into the England constitution. Then fifth one is parliamentary form of government. In the American constitution was made of them into dash. In the England constitution was like into the parliamentary form of government. The Indian government was like into parliamentary form of government. America, understand? In the American constitution, dash form of government. Parliament or Senate. Senate. Okay. Then sixth point is gap between theory and practice. In the history, the many or any topic was theory and practice. In the England constitution was like into the theory and practice was included or evaluated into the England constitution. The seventh one is supremacy of parliament. Supremacy of parliament. Then eighth one is bicameral legislature. Then nine one is unitary government of England constitution. Then rule of law. Then biparty system. Then constitutional monarchy. Then parliamentary sovereignty, conventions and mixed government. In the 15 points like into the salient features of England constitution. Okay. Last one is conclusion. In the England Parliament, the constitution is an unwritten constitution. England constitution is unwritten constitution. It could be found from different sources. Found from different sources. The citizen of England enjoy all kinds of rights and liberties. The England constitution is the oldest constitution in the world. The constitution dynamic in nature, it has capacity with all kinds of situations. Okay? Are you understand? Then two videos like in the only parliament, then one is Magna Carta. Already explained in the Magna Carta is 1211, 1256 is the sub part of Magna Carta. Okay, one video. Second video is the Parliament, the England Parliament.
1,000 years past, our kings wanted a palace that others would look on in envious malice, competing to build the grandest of earth, but Westminster Hall was the most at the moment. The king gets too bossy, so here comes Magna Carta to rein in his powers and do things much smarter. The council meets in his chambers for intrigue and dramas, and Parliament's formed with the king in the grants. 200 years later, more voting arrives, so it's 400 more till it touches most lives. No paupers or women get electoral powers, and the wait will be long till democracy flowers. Back to the palace, Westminster's ablaze, leaving poor Henry VIII in the daze. The council remains, but the king's soon packing, so Parliament gets first home with his backing. Wales and England unite in a bold new beginning. Common laws for both lands, the judiciary's grin. But Guy Fawkes makes futile on the 3rd of November and gives the whole country a night to remember. Now a grim civil war sounds the monarchy's death, and power is seized by bold Robert Cromwell. But the outcome's the one that the king is most dreaded, and on a cold, lonely morning, the public's beheaded. Charles II does better, he's soon back on the throne, and Scotland ensures that he won't feel alone. With Scottish MPs, Parliament's now overflowing, but 100 more from Ireland to keep the numbers are growing. Reforms, now democracy's looking more healthy. 1 in 7 can vote, if they're male or wealthy. What is it with violence? Again Parliament's burning. Westminster Hall saved, guess the fireplace is learning. A new building's built, with lots of to-do. And Big Ben is added, which pleases the tourists. Yet something smells funny, and though Parliament's new, they had to go sort out a stink from the sewer. Our women want votes to chain themselves to the railing. Their passion is great, their resolve is unfailing. Then the men go to war in the greatest of slaughters, leaving the land in the hands of their wives and their daughters. And in 1918, female suffrage arrives, and so in the wake of the war, a democracy thrives. Yet it isn't for long that we lay down our weapons, as once more the spectre of world war is present. Parliament's bombed 14 times in the air raids, and Commonwealth sends in repairs, health and upgrades. Skip on to the 60s, equality flares, voting age 18 now that Parliament dares. The 80s, we're almost back to the present, time to make Parliament look much more pleasant. It's been burned down, rebuilt, crowded and smelly, but it's scrubbed up all night when it gets on the telly.
The king and queen, all the full powers in the England. Okay.
Pretty seated.
Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the Queen commands this Honourable House to attend Her Majesty immediately in the House of Peers. Hands on the BBC.
The House of Lords.
Was shaped and driven by Parliament. But how did it all begin? What does Parliament do all day, and how do you use it? Parliament has evolved throughout its long history to become what it is today, changing over time to meet the needs of the people. Two key historical events began this process. In 1215, King John put his seal on Magna Carta and agreed to a list of 63 rules set out by a group of barons. This ensured for the first time that no one, not even the king, was above the law. 50 years later, Simon de Montfort, for the first time, invited representatives of the towns and shires to his 1265 Parliament. These events established the foundations for the representative democracy we have today, and from this point onwards, the power to make decisions for the nation passed, over time, from the monarch to Parliament. Let's take a closer look at the UK Parliament today. Parliament is made up of three parts: the House of Commons, the House of Lords, and the monarch. The House of Commons is the elected chamber of Parliament. It debates big issues, proposes laws, amends existing ones,